How to weld metals, first steps. The materials and tools you need. All the techniques, all the steps, all the secrets that I have been able to learn during my years of experience. Welding for beginners, all for beginners. Inside video. The first thing we need to start welding at least has to be a welding machine similar to this one. This is a 200 amp inverter. You have a lot of power and well, this is the one I'm going to use. The work lead. I have never known this, if it goes in the positive or in the negative, but hey. I connect it here in the positive, and this has to be connected either directly to the metal that we are going to weld or to another metal that is in contact with the one that we are going to weld. So I have this workbench ready, and I'm going to connect it here. Well, there would already have the mass connected, and now we would miss the torch, the clamp, the pistol. And we connect this in the negative, we turn around to be fixed. And we would already have it. We would turn on the machine and now it would be necessary to drag to ignite the electrode. Always to place a welding point. The electrode is dragged with speed near the site to be welded to ignite the electrode and reach the exact site with the hot electrode. Okay, as the dough is in the bottom piece. That is the one with good dough. So to avoid problems, I would pick there with the electrode. I would put a tourniquet on it or hold it with one hand, and if I am going to throw it in this corner I would drag like this. Can be done by dragging, but to add a welding point you can also puncture with the electrode, which is what I usually do. When the electrode is hot, if I finish a point, just bring it closer before it cools, it connects well without dragging. Nothing else to do like this. If it is hot, with pricking a little you will spare. But otherwise we would have to do the same operation, drag here and always come back. I would go to the corner this, and from there I would drag a little and hold 2 or 3 seconds. In my channel you can see the videos with a dark screen what I am seeing. We will talk about the force, but that also depends on the electrode that we carry. This electrode is 3.25 for this material, which is sturdy, quite wide, it suits us well. You can appreciate the difference. But for example, if we used a 2.50 we could also weld this, but the cord would come out thinner. For example this. With this material, which is thinner, the ideal would be with this one with the 2.50. Two and a half electrodes for fine material. I also have about 1.50 or 1.25, I don't know very well, but they are special. But well, for this material I would use this.
corte lleva. Bueno, se mueve. Entonces.
Here, I do this a lot, which is to drag inside the tube to heat up, and I would come here.
Le echaré un poquito.
And that's it. We would already have this dotted, then I would come here and start. And now if it would already be dotted, because the welding points are crossed, but I will not explain that now. But if you have a tourniquet on here, you can throw it here, here, there. You can throw it away, it doesn't matter. Now to weld this. This is not flat, it is horizontal but lateral. So to solder this one, I'd put the electrode like this. Right now, because I have a bad position. The position is very important. If I position myself well, as I am right now, I would come here with the electrode. Even so, I don't know if I could throw it out. Maybe if I can hold out longer here in the bottom piece where the curve is. That is where the nerve is, and the metal is harder and can get hotter. So here I go down and I go up a little but fast in tenths of a second, and I go down, I go up a little and I go down, I go up a little and I go down. And I'm done.
Quitar corte para allá. Corte para allá. Ponemos la masa. Bien.
Now this cord that we will throw here would be horizontal but flat. This already, if it would be a cord in total plane. I would have to get away a little more, but hey. Here if you have to go very fast, up and down, even forward and backward. Forward and backward.
Este puede echar mínimo para acá, gira muy rápido, lo que pasa es que ya iría para adelante.
The position is very important to be able to control the electrode well, and in this case always go backwards. Although in the lateral cords the electrode can go to one side. Here I will explain how to weld thin metal with thicker metal. I'm going to do it with a 3.25 electrode, which is the one I usually use. It is 3.25 is the one I know the most. It is suitable for practically all types of material thickness. So this one, for example. If I were to weld here, what I have explained before. First I drag. For the first start of the electrode it would drag here, but let's assume that the piece is painted, then it would drag here. I drag a little and it would start here. Whenever you notice that it falls into the material below that is thicker.
Idealmente, una empuja para adelante, empuja para adelante, empuja para adelante, empuja para adelante,
If you see that you are going to make a hole, you have to go back and forth so as not to overheat the area and sneak in. In the position that the pieces are, it is very difficult to make a hole. If the piece of thin metal were underneath, it would be easier for us to make a hole. I'm also going to talk about the welding screen. Right now I wear this screen with a manual head, but I have almost always used automatic screens. The difference is that with this screen you have to be raising and lowering it every time you are going to weld because it is always dark. With this screen like that you don't see anything. With the automatic screen, so if you see. So with this, can't you see? I have passed. With this one it is much more bulky to point, I have to be like this. I tell you that when the electrode is hot, that we have just welded and only 2 or 3 seconds have passed and I am going to throw it again. There, you do not need anything more than to click and that's it. You don't have to drag it again, no. If it's hot you do like that, pam, and it works. Look, I'm going to throw it out like that without seeing. What's more, I'm going to take it looking for now. About. Well, I have already explained about the screens, the electrodes. You already know 3.25 and 3.5 electrodes always in the tool cabinet. Gloves. I have 2 in my left hand and 1 in my right, because I hold the electrode a lot with my left because I have very little pulse. For flat laces, no, but if for example, now being here, to weld this vertically, I would bend the electrode, because I always do this. I will explain about the position. The support we have is very important, that I start here, and can get there by spending the entire electrode without making a sudden movement. Sometimes you start well, but when you go this way, you can no longer continue, so it is very important to have a good position and calculate the distance. So you have to calculate to be able to spend it whole. To weld vertically, which we have talked about, we load the submachine gun, pull a ramp down and start.
Aquí sistem itu. Ini elemen sih. Ya está. El plano es.
We want to weld the flat cord that. You put the electrode like this. To throw this cord, nothing more than pinches. As soon as you do this with the electrode and give them a continuous movement backwards, the electrode is asking you, because you are seeing how it is eating at the same time that you are dragging. It asks you alone. It is practical. It is practical. The more you practice, the more your technique will increase, your way of positioning yourself, and in the end create your own style. There are people who like to wear the electrode like this. There are people who like to wear it like that. I know I like it that way. I like it that way. That's how I love it. It's like. Then for example, to put a flat bead the electrode always like this and this position. Well friends, if you are liking the video, subscribe to my channel Matmetalic.
Apa ya?
And to tap is explained. If I want to tap here, I hold it. I would drag and start here.
Pam, ya. Y una vez que está en caliente ya no me va a hacer la retro va a hacer ahí o va a hacer allí. Me digo, que si se hace así, pa, se me embala. Eso se me embala. Pa. No lo puedo ver. Yo no pinta, ¿eh?
Practice. Practice. Practice.